welcome Exiles. I just want to give you guys a quick video on how to properly make use of the remove non-X, add X crafts from Harvest. This is greatly underappreciated. That's the reason I'm making this video, because I think there's a huge amount of power in this craft that people don't realize, or a vast majority of players don't realize, so I'm trying to make this video to give you guys a good idea of how to use it. I am going to put this text document here in the description so you can go through and read step by step what I'm talking about in these examples and whatnot, but really I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how this works and what you can do with it, and then walk through one example in PODB. So, to start off with, great use cases are removing bad affixes without tags. Example being stun and block recovery. It's a affix that has basically no tag types that can be removed via Harvest Craft. So that's why it's important we're doing the remove non-X craft, because a non-fire is going to be included in that, right? And then getting rid of this mod is huge because you can replace it with something better. So that's one good use we have for this craft here. Another good use is perfecting 2 mod blue items. This depends on the cost of imprint beasts. If imprint beasts are cheap, oh no, boiling water. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. For context, I was boiling water to basically sterilize the nipple piece of the bottle for feeding baby Lance. So anyways, perfecting 2 mod blue items. This basically depends on the cost of imprint beasts. If imprint beasts are cheap, and they're cheaper than the non-ad crafts, then that's a scenario where you'll just use imprint beast instead, because it takes an average of 2 to annul off a bad modifier. This is basically when you have a super rare mod, like plus 2 to all spell gems or something, and you're trying to get a perfect suffix to go along with it, to try to create a perfect base, to then copy that base and make multiple really good items, make some money off of it. Next up is putting on rare mods due to only having a limited number of affixes available. Example being explode chest, curse on hit rings, +1 to LE damage spells. Stuff like that is where you can force on mods. This also works with just augments. And last but not least is re-rolling for suffix, prefix pool mods on already good items. So say you have an item with 3 good prefixes or 3 good suffixes, there are scenarios where you can basically continually re-roll your suffixes or prefixes for better resistances, better damage, and you'll be safe from taking off the good mods you already have. So let's get into one real good example for you, and then you guys, if you want to look into this further, I have some more written out, more detailed examples, and it all breaks down to basically this simple question is, if X is a mod or mod on your item, or mods on your item, you don't want to remove off of the item, i.e. brick your item in other words, you got to ask yourself, really, pretty much it boils down to this one simple question. If X is removed, can a mod Y be put onto the item? So say we remove our T1 life on a belt, and the Y mod, the fire mod, the cold mod, whatever you're trying to be put onto the item, can that be put onto the belt? If it can't be put onto the belt, if you remove the life modifier, that means it's impossible for this craft to remove your life modifier, right? So it boils down to this simple question. I'm going to give you a quick example in PODB. So say we have a belt here. The belt has T1 life, it has T1 wed, and some other good prefix we like. Maybe we like armor, I don't really know. It has pretty good prefixes. What you have a problem with is your suffix pool. You have stun and block recovery, really bad cold resistance, and an open suffix. Now, if we have a craft that says remove non-fire, add fire, what that will do, if you go ahead and you look at the mods here, if you type in fire, you'll notice there's only a suffix for fire. If we craft on a craft like cold and fire resistance, for example, and we try to do this craft, if the craft would have taken out like our T1 life, if it takes off the T1 life, it can't go and put fire res on because our suffixes are full, right? So therefore that means it cannot add a fire modifier if it takes off a prefix. So what it has to do is it has to take off either the bad cold res or the bad stun and block recovery. So we have a guaranteed good outcome, not risking any of our valuable affixes. Now I walk through a bunch of different examples, basically just 3 of them here. There's multiple scenarios where this applies, whether that's doing something with crit affixes, with caster affixes, attack affixes, fire affixes, cold affixes, lightning affixes. There's a bunch of scenarios where you'll see that there's only that type of affix on the suffix pool or on the prefix pool, and therefore you can protect your suffix pool or your prefix pool by filling up the pool you're trying to remove the bad mod from and then using the craft. So basically what would happen in this scenario is we'd remove cold res or stun and block. If we remove the cold res and it put on fire res, we could simply go for a remove non-cold at that point, and then it would have another 50-50 at removing the stun and block or the cold resistance. And you can essentially keep doing that until you've gotten rid of all the bad non-affix type mods and perfected your item a little bit. Also, it works kind of for basically re-rolling resistances until you hit better numbers, more or less. So hopefully that breaks down for you guys a good example of how to use this, gets you guys thinking about why this is a very powerful craft to use, because you can kind of isolate and force specific outcomes in terms of removing a specific mod you don't want, or forcing a specific mod you want onto the item while removing a mod you don't want on the item. So I'll leave this in the description. You guys can look it over. Hope this helps you guys. Hope this gives you some good inspiration to really help yourselves create some really good items. And I will see you guys in Echoes of the Atlas. Have a good one.